10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stadium Connect North. Wow, episode 36. That's crazy.
I
And
know.
I've got two cool people with me here today. I've got Mr. John Scar. How are you doing, John?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. And then we've got the famous MM2K. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, you guys have not learned yet. And this is going to be the interview. I love all these interviews, guys, but this is going to be another great one. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of which, so today we are having an interview with Justin, one of the developers of Projekt Z, which is a Kickstarter happening at the moment. But we'll go more into detail later. But let us introduce you guys to Justin. So, there you go,
Hey guys,
Mr. Cutbus. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming here. It's an honor. We know that you're pretty busy with the development of the game at the moment, the Kickstarter and everything. So we really appreciate you coming here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna start with the interview there, but
Okay. Yeah. I
yeah.
have to say I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
It's yeah, guys. It's my first interview, so yeah.
Oh, well, hey, well,
Yeah.
I hope I'm doing well.
cheers
No
to many
worries.
more. I mean,
Yeah.
the game will get some attraction, right? So it will happen more and more. So
Oh yeah.
I'm glad to be the first one to introduce you to this. Will ease you into it. Yeah, exactly. So so let's start this up. So the first thing we'd like to know, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about the history of 314 Arts, some background, the formation of the studio, when it was formed, and how many people are currently working with this company.
Sure. First of all, my name is Justin Mirsch, or AK Cutbus99. Um, yeah, it's the city I was born, so.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, the studio was formed in 2015,
Wow.
when Max and I, or also known as the Mars 2011, met each other on the internet. We joined a forum called Amit Unity back in the day. And yeah, I think we just started talking about hey, let's make a first person shooter. We are both fans of the Call of Duty franchise, so obviously we wanted to create our own Call of Duty.
Nice.
I think that's normal.
Yeah, yeah, we all love that.
So yeah, we started working on a small student project called Vengeance, or I think back in the day it was called Police Infinity. But we changed that name to Vengeance later on because the name Police Infinity doesn't make any sense. So yeah, we also changed the entire setting of the game. So yeah, after releasing Vengeance in 2016, I guess, we also started thinking about, hey, let's make our own studio. Maybe that could be something. And we were looking into other ways of making money with the studio, obviously. So we first off started after Vengeance, we started making our own first-person shooter kit for the Unity asset store. So that's also a fun fact. That's the main income right now for our studio. But we are also outsourcing and stuff. We're doing outsourcing and stuff like that. Yeah, and after, I think we were thinking about the Projekt Z for around, let me think, 4 years now. I think we started talking about Projekt Z in 2017. At this time, I was still in the military, and it was the end of my military service, so I just had a few months left. And I was thinking, okay, hey, should I stick to the military, or should I make games? And obviously, I took the games route, which was a great move, I would say. So yeah,
quite a different kind of job description, right?
yeah, it is. But hey, now I can put this on my resume.
yeah, exactly.
So at the moment we are 9 people at 340 Arts. But just Max and I are really really
like
a part of the.
or,
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the other people are currently described as freelancers, but they're such a big part right now of our history, because we also stick to all of them since Vengeance in 2016.
Wow.
So yeah, we also got some new people like Jensen, or Sigurd Jonk Jensen. Sorry for that, Jensen. I butchered your name again. He's from Denmark, and it's just horrible to say his name. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he created the music, for example, for Killing Floor 2, and our sound designer is the sound designer of Ready or Not. So
yeah, that's very nice. I'm a big fan of the Killing Floor 2 soundtrack, so it was cool to hear that the composer was part of it. I own the vinyl of it, and I even played
I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. And I've played some of the Projekt Z music on a radio show that I do on a Tuesday evening. So it'll be playing next week. So that's going to be cool to show the people the songs that you guys have in the game. So you've pretty much answered all of my questions at the same time. But
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm going to improvise and ask more questions. So the current people that are working with you guys. So if Projekt Z, or when Projekt Z is successful, are some of them considering to be like full-time members of the company?
It depends on how much money we gain.
Yes. Okay.
Of course, with 100,000 euros, you cannot get all of the people full time, because it's not enough money to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we will see. I think we will come to the question later on.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about how much in revenue the game will make after its release, right? So
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So after the release, I'm pretty sure we can
assess
that,
and figure out. Yeah, that's true. And what about Vengeance? Can you tell us a little bit more about this game, and for people who'd be interested in maybe buying it, or what kind of game is it? Any stories behind it and stuff? Yeah.
Sure. So well, the first disappointment. Vengeance doesn't have a really story. Doesn't have a real story. because it was a student project, we just focused on the gameplay, so that it plays well and the movement is pretty cool and the shooting and stuff like that. So yeah, but Vengeance is, I would say, is a Call of Duty 4 inspired first person shooter.
Oh wow.
Without any microtransactions. We just made that game so that people can just play and have fun, and without buying unnecessary skins and stuff like that, or XP boosts. So it's kind of arena shooter thing. Yeah, but it was more like a student passion project, so that you.
So it'd be interesting to have a look. So guys, if you're interested, in a modern warfare type of gameplay of game, make sure to take a look at Vengeance.
I mean, and I'm looking too, NinjaGuy. It has very positive reviews on Steam. So,
look at that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we turned that around. Yeah.
Paid a lot of people in the back, right?
Trust me, the release in 2016 was hard.
Oh yeah,
to say the
I
least.
can imagine.
It was our first game. The expectation was so high and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at first we got destroyed, I would say, by Big Fry. But
Of course.
the relationship grew so much, and we just took the feedback from Big Fry, and after 2 years of development, I think we got the game around, and now it's a good game, I think.
Yeah.
It creates a learning. There's a learning curve, and it looks like that you guys conquered, at least with this game here, conquered that learning curve quite well, because being very positive on Steam is not always an easy feat. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
It is very true.
We learned a lot through Vengeance. So.
Yep. Oh yeah, the first game is always rough. I can imagine. So now, I can't wait for Projekt Z, because this is like your baby, and it's going to be cool to see something like this happening.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is all I had for my questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the stage to Mr. John here, who has some more questions for you.
Hey, thank you, Justin. I really appreciate you again taking the time stopping by here, and honored that we are your first interview about Projekt Z.
Oh,
really looking forward to it. So just before I jump into my questions here, I did see someone in the chat asked a question related to the studio itself. What does the 314 signify in 314 arts?
Oh, it signifies the. Oh, you mean just the. Oh yeah.
Like, what
true.
does that mean? Is there any meaning behind it, or?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that. Oh man. Yeah, that's a funny story. Obviously our first game was called Police Infinity. And the what's the word for that? The short version of Police Infinity was Pi.
Oh, okay,
So-
right.
Because when Max and I met each other, we both had our own studio names. So I think I called myself Contact Studios, and Mars called himself Mars Industries. And we released Vengeance with those names, Police Infinity. But we swapped our name from Contact Studios and Mars Industries to 314 Arts, so Pi, and obviously.
Oh,
Ah,
okay, that makes sense.
clever.
That's awesome. Awesome.
So it also reminds us of our first game. So that's pretty sweet.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. That's an amazing story. Okay, so let's we're going to venture into now the Kickstarter for Projekt Z here. It kicked off last Friday, April the 29th. Can you, like, for those that don't know much about it, can you tell us about the game? I know you touched a little bit on how the idea came about, but could you maybe kind of let us know how the idea came about, what game engine you're using, have you used that engine before, and then we'll get into a little more finer details here. Don't want to overload you here.
Yeah, a lot of people out there are thinking that we're using Unreal, which is a compliment. Thank you for that. But yeah, we're using Unity for that game. And the only reason why we are using Unity is because because all of the team have at least 6 years of experience with this engine.
Wow.
Because most of the people working on projects that started really early. So I started game development in, well, let me say I started it with 12 years.
Wow, that's a lot.
So back in the Unity 5 days or Unity 4, I don't know. I'm not sure anymore. So long ago. So yeah, it's Unity. A lot of people are asking why you guys using Unity, but that's the answer to that. It's more like
it looks amazing. I'm going to be honest with you here. When I first saw it and then found out that you were using Unity, I was like, oh my gosh, like Unity, like the more I learn about it, it is just, it's so amazing to see what it's capable of. You know, from my initial thoughts and impressions of the engine from even just a couple of years ago until today has vastly changed. And, you know, just seeing this game here, I was just like, holy crap, this is made using Unity?
They've come a long way.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget, guys, Unity is a love-hate relationship between game developers. I think everyone who's using Unity is like, oh man, I hate Unity, but I also love it at the same time. I just hate my life or something like that.
Oh gosh.
Can I throw a question in there real quick, John? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
because I'm looking at Vengeance and as a starter game. I mean, this is impressive to me. Was Vengeance made in Unity as well, Justin?
Yeah. We swapped.
Okay.
We also gave Vengeance an update in summer 2021. We updated the game to URP. Also because we wanted, or we are still working on the Xbox One version for the game.
Oh wow.
So also getting some experience there. Yeah, because console development is a whole nother topic. It's even harder.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine. Awesome. So could you tell us? So for Projekt Z here, where did the idea come about for this game?
Well, as I said, the idea for Projekt Z came up in 2017. And we had a lot of prototypes. What we were doing next. So after Vengeance, we had prototypes for a single player third person story game. We had a prototype for a battle royale space shooter.
Oh wow!
And that was pretty fun. We still have gameplay of that. That was a fun game. But yeah, Max and I are big fans of The Last of Us and Left 4 Dead and DayZ. So we always wanted to create a survival game, but the problem is when you create a survival game, the expectations first off are in the skies. So we wanted to make something smaller, but also something different, because no one wants another Left 4 Dead copy.
Right.
As I said in the Kickstarter video, we had a lot of games like Back 4 Blood last year coming out, and it was not that good, not that good, I would say. In my opinion, of course, there are a lot of people out there they're still loving it. World War 3 came out, great game, but also most of the time something is missing, and I know that is so hard to find that last the last sparkling whatever thingy to make this game as good or better than Left 4 Dead.
Right.
So yeah, we think we have the spark, but we don't know yet. we see it in the alpha or beta phase. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So can you tell us the story behind Project Z here? When does it take place? And then maybe kind of venture into the gameplay, some of the the different aspects and enemies and things like that are involved for those that aren't familiar with it.
The game takes place in 1945 after Germany lost the World War II. It focuses around the Projekt Z. This is a project run by the Nazis. Of course, it's all fictional. So of course, Germany lost the World War in 1945. I think we all know that. But the Projekt Z is run by the Nazis to turn the war last minute around in their favor. And there was a fictional island. We created a fictional island where you will encounter different types of enemies. For example, the radio zombie we have, excuse me, we have showed in the last devlog, I think devlog 5, which is inspired by the clickers from The Last of Us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we basically swapped out the crackling noise from the from their body itself and changed it to a radio. But this time there is a catch, because you can directly hear if the zombie, because the radio zombie is blind, so they can't just hear you. But if they hear you, the crackling noise of the radio starts getting more and more intense.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we have a lot of those ideas. Also, obviously infected animals such as dogs or deers and stuff like that. So there is a lot coming, but it's not ready to show yet, obviously. But yeah, you will also encounter normal soldiers. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you have a bit to fight there, because you can also use obviously the zombies as a weapon.
Ha! To your advantage.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Jeez.
I have a question to around the same kind of questions that John had, and it's something curious that I was never sure I understood, like why this mechanic exists. So in the game, there's a mechanics where the guy looks at his weapon, right? Like he inspects his weapon for some reason. And can you elaborate on like why this is part of the game?
Oh, you mean the weapon check or
Yes.
the ammo check?
Yeah.
So as you guys noticed, we don't have a user interface, or we have a user interface, but it's all of those elements are just showing up when you do an action. So I think we called it, I don't know, I think internally it was called Action UI or something like that. So for example, to see the mission progress or what you have to do next, you have to put out your compass, and then automatically the UI, the mission UI as we call it, pops up so that you can see, oh, okay, I have to go to the bunker entrance. And obviously we also don't have waypoints. Maybe you saw that as well. We don't have waypoints because maybe you saw it in the gameplay. It's a small detail, but we use the compass needle as a waypoint so that you can see, oh, okay, you put out the compass, you see the mission UI, and the compass itself will lead you to the spot you have to go.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's
So,
interesting. Yeah.
That's also the reason why I recorded the gameplay. That was also the reason why I put out the compass all the time, so that people maybe
On purpose, yeah.
maybe see it. But but no, yeah, we, and the animation you mean was the ammo check, So you also have to do an action to see how much ammo you have left
That's
in the magazine.
cool. Nice.
If you press, I think, X, excuse me, you see the ammo UI popping up in the right corner. So yeah.
Oh,
I love that.
That's
Yeah,
the reason
that's
for the
awesome.
animation.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know Granite has a question here in the chat. He said to ask you about the player permanence and player death. So when you die, is it like you have to start all over, or is it will you be able to like continue on with maybe the items that you had or such?
If someone dies during a mission, all of the stuff you have is lost. So that's the
Ooh.
first thing.
Okay.
If you had a shotgun, if you came to the mission with a shotgun and you die, the shotgun is gone. However, the co-op player can loot you and bring it back to the hub. So
Okay. That's
if
awesome.
if you play it solo, it's a bit harder because if you lose it, it's really gone. So there's no way that you get it back.
Right.
Yeah, but we also had a lot of people of wanting a permadeath mode in general.
Right.
I just want to say we heard them, and we're currently thinking about that.
Oh, nice.
So that when you die, that the entire hub is also gone. So that's like a hardcore mode. So we're thinking.
Yeah, that's a hardcore PC thing. Yeah.
we're currently thinking about that, but
yeah. Oh my gosh! Wow. So could you maybe tell us about the different types of missions in the game, like on what people can expect, or?
As I said in the devlog, we have two types of missions currently. The first type is the story missions. The story missions are obviously just there to bring the story along about the Projekt Z. Sorry, I have to pronounce it in German because if I don't do that, Max will kill me. I'm so sorry, Max. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. We have the story missions to bring the story along, and those missions are more linear than supply missions. I will come to the level design a bit later, I think. But let's just say we have different sections of. If I explain the level design, we have different sections. The first section is very linear. It's just there, as I said, to bring the story along. The second section is also linear, but is a bit more like it's a bit wider. So it's not that linear, but it's just a bit wider so that you can have more options to loot and search and maybe find some secrets. The third section, however, is I think the most interesting one because this is when the escape from Tarkov idea kicks in. This map is it's not huge, but it's big. You have enough space to search the area, to see different how can I put it? It's for to explain the size. I think a lot of people know the level customs from Escape from Tarkov. I really like to compare those both because from the scale it's definitely around the same. And yeah, story missions. Well, now my English is broken.
It's okay.
Yes, story missions. Let me. How can I put it? You have section 1 and 2 I would say section 1 and 2 is the basic story mission. Story missions have not that much of a section 3 because it's really hard to create a story mission from a linear design to a big wide open world-ish level design.
Right.
Okay.
So story missions are more linear, and supply missions have those section 1, 2, and 3 pattern, and story missions have the 1 and 2 pattern.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you mentioned multiplayer. How many, like, up to how many people can play? Is it 2 or?
No, you can play it up to 4.
4. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. So I see there's a question here in the chat that I kind of maybe want to split up because we're going to get to the second part of it here. Doug was asking, is there going to be a wave mode? I guess he's referring to maybe like a horde mode in the game.
Oh yeah, we have a Call of Duty Black Ops 1 inspired wave mode.
Cool.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. Okay.
we didn't mention that in the Kickstarter or made any or created any marketing for it because last time we did it, a lot of people thought that Projekt Z is just a wave mode game.
Yeah.
So this time we wanted to avoid this because of the Kickstarter campaign.
Right.
To get the real focus of the game into the light. But yeah, we have a horde mode, and we also want to create a separate team for the horde mode, because it's totally different from the main game.
Right.
We also have perks. We also have cool, catchy jingles, also composed by Jensen.
Nice.
Oh, nice! Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So-
awesome. Yeah, lots of ideas and stuff in the planning here. That's great to hear. So some people were worrying about the development timeline of Projekt Z here. Can you give us maybe like a brief overview and some key points into the timeline and development of the game?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, the development timeline we've shown on the Kickstarter started with the Kickstarter launch, of course. When the Kickstarter is done, we start looking for new developers to fill the roles we need, such as character artists, story writers, because a lot of people think that our game is so close to finish, but it's not.
Yeah.
We still have to find a lot of people to help us, such as character artists, story writers, because Max and I aren't story writers. We are just game developers. I'm a game designer. He's a game designer. So we are more into the game mechanics and stuff like that, not the story itself. And after that, we will look or we will work on the alpha version of the game, which is currently planned to release in Q1 2023.
Okay.
And after 1 year of testing and developing, we will switch, if obviously ready, to the beta in Q1 2024 and the full release in Q4 2024. Yeah.
Okay.
We also, by the way, trying to get the alpha and beta versions to Stadia. I think the post should go live in a few minutes. I think.
That'd be great.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but we have to. Obviously, we have to talk to Google about that if this is possible. But we just want to say that we're looking into it. Yeah.
Nice. That's fantastic to hear. Wow.
Yeah.
So the next question comes. I had somebody pass this question along to me. They weren't able to make the stream here, and just asked if I could inquire about the Kickstarter goal, the funding needed to make the game. How? I mean, obviously not on a very detailed level, but how was that amount like decided upon? Because I know there was some people might worry, well, the 100,000 euro is, might not be enough to make the game. And then, what happens if the game doesn't reach its goal on Kickstarter? I mean, like, where do we go from there?
Yeah, of course. That's a big topic. 100K is not a lot, and it's also the absolute minimum we came up with. The only thing why we can do this is that all of the people currently working on Projekt Z is that all of the people are working as profit share or
Right.
profit share. So they get a specific share when the game comes out. That's the only reason why this is working with the 100K.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the answer to that.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely.
That makes sense, and that's actually great that you have people that are able to be on your team that are, willing to do that there and work together and do that. That's amazing. So I guess the second part of that question would be then, what happens if just say by chance that you don't meet the goal, the Kickstarter goal? What would be next or like what would be the status of the game? Would that be it, or would you try to go for funding from somewhere else? Or
so yeah, we have a plan B, and the game won't be cancelled if the Kickstarter fails. That's for sure. But of course, first off, we cannot talk about it yet.
Exactly.
There is of course a lot going on in the background. I can't talk about.
Right.
But I personally would say, even if the Kickstarter fails, the game has a bright future, I would say.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. That's like a lot of people were worried about that as well. So I see Granite has a question in the chat, but that's actually going to be coming up here, the MM2K, which I'm going to pass the virtual mic over to now. He's got some questions here, and I know people were asking Stadia related questions earlier in the chat, so hopefully this will answer those questions. And if not in the chat, once MM2K is finished asking his questions, feel free to type your questions in the chat then, and then we can ask Justin and see if he's able to answer.
Awesome. Hey, Justin, I want to thank you. We want to thank you. Stadium Connect North, myself, the community, we want to give you a big thanks for coming on and doing this interview. The game,
thank you guys.
as presented, looks fantastic. And I don't know if you caught some of my digital drooling over it on Twitter, but I mean, this is already hopped. I mean, regardless, I mean, I'm a Stadian, at heart, but this game, regardless of where it released, already just rose to the top of my most anticipated list. So this looks great, and hopefully you guys can keep it going. So I am a fanboy of this effort, so I'm trying my best to be biased and be a professional interviewer. So you got to excuse me, and no need to be nervous. No, definitely, because I mean, this thing looks fantastic, and it really, what it did is it really invigorated the community to say, you know what, we got to get more efforts like this on the platform. So kudos to you and the team and everybody that is either contributing at a full-time level, part-time level. And again, we hope to see this thing come to fruition. So wanted to say that first and foremost.
Thank you so much, man.
All right. So to kind of piggyback off of what John asked about the Kickstarter, because that's kind of as you can understand, that's kind of a question for many in the community. Originally, Stadia was not part of your plans at all. So the community then picked up on the game, as I said, and then they spread it across social media. And shortly thereafter, you guys announced at 105% funding that that would become the tier that you would include Stadia, day one. So what I first want to ask you based off of that is, have you already applied to become a developer for Stadia?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
That was a short answer, but yeah, we already applied. We already
No,
applied,
great. No, that's the best answer too. Because believe it or not, and some of these questions will be short answers, but there are some people that think that you guys are operating out of a tie-dye van and you guys have never developed anything, and this is just a scheme to buy oodles and noodles for you and the crew for eternity. You know what I mean? Like silly stuff like that. So you have to excuse me. I am going to ask some very simple questions, but it's good. It's good that we got to reiterate. It sounds silly, but it's good that we reiterate the simple stuff. Also, okay. So can you comment though on the status of your talks with Google? We know there's NDAs and stuff like that. We know you can't just sit there and give us the whole spill, but what can you assure us about your conversations with Google?
Really, I think I'm not sure what I can say. So
okay, gotcha.
I better say nothing about
nothing. Yeah. do they seem? Let's put it like this: do they seem positive or good? Can you think you can state that? Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. Or heartening. Yeah. Okay. Good.
So
good.
I'm pretty sure that that we will get accepted.
Gotcha.
That personally there's no doubt about it, but you'll never know.
Yeah. Exactly. But that's still good to hear. Then that's good to hear, even from your perspective, because again, you guys aren't newbies at this. You guys have developed the game. It's out there on Steam. If nobody believes it, so they can go check it out.
We also created a first-person kit for other developers who wants to pick up.
Oh wow!
Our template. So I totally forgot that.
Oh yeah.
Vengeance is based off of our own created template that we're selling on the asset store for Unity.
Oh wow!
Nice.
So whenever we prototype a new game, we use that as a base, and other developers now can do this as well. I can do that as well. So yeah, we have people that can program.
yeah. No, that's important to point out. I'm glad you said that, and that's very important to point out. Wow. Okay, great stuff. Great. Now, some in the community are also curious as to why the extra 5% in funding is needed in order to bring Projekt Z to Stadia. Is that something you can elaborate on?
Yeah, sure. The thing is, whenever we consider a new platform, we have to think about things like how much work would it be to port the game, how much work is it to support the platform.
Yep.
So that's the reason why we came up with the extra 5%. I know 5% is not that much, but it is enough to port the game, I would say, because if you port a game, the only thing or the only developer who needs to work on that is the programmer and and me, I would say, because I do all or most of the performance stuff. I do optimization stuff. I do the lighting. I do rendering, game development. I do a lot. So it's just two persons, So and that's the reason why we came up with the extra 5%.
Gotcha.
So MM2K, I just want to
slide sure.
in here to Justin. So Justin, compared to, like, I know on the Kickstarter there, and maybe you could mention it as well. I know it's at 105% for Stadia, but what other people may not know, what about for console? Like, isn't it like it's not just at 5%? It's, I think, for Xbox, isn't it like at 150K, something like that? Or yeah. So
yeah, that's because Xbox development is in our opinion a lot harder.
Right. No, I just want to give like a perspective for those wondering. It's like, so basically you're asking for it's the 5,000 euro to bring it to Stadia, and then for consoles it goes up to, like I said, I think it's 50. So it's just, more complex and there's a lot more work to bring it to Xbox and PlayStation and things like that. I know there's a question here again. I just wanted to answer it real quick here before we go on. Doug was asking, where did the idea for Stadia originally come? Did you guys just decide to look into it? And I'm going to comment real quick on that. So, Doug, what happened is there were people in the community, and actually, I remember there's one particular person where I originally saw it, posted on Reddit and said that they had mentioned, that they had saw the game. It was using Unity and Linux, and really started to kick off that that campaign. And I don't know, maybe Justin, if you can comment, like what was it? Because I mean, had you ever heard of Stadia before?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what was it like for you? Like, I mean, what was this like? You're talking about Projekt Z here, and then all of a sudden, about a month ago, you start hearing the Stadia stuff. What was it like for you on the other end of it?
So the first reaction was, okay, what the fuck's going on? Because our Twitter got flooded.
Mm-hmm.
And then we looked into it, and of course I heard about Stadia in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't sure if Stadia is still a thing. So to be honest, but you guys showed me it's absolutely a thing still.
Which is awesome.
Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know.
No.
No. And yeah, after that I talked. I think it was a 2-hour or 3-hour call with Max. And from there on we just decided, okay, yeah, man, let's do that. Why not? We also at the same time checked out Stadia on mobile, because it was so funny to see Destiny 2 or other games on your mobile device just working flawlessly. And from there on we just said to each other, okay, man, we have to do that with our own game. Projekt Z on mobile. That's insane.
Yeah, I love that. So it was like a WTF moment for me. Like, what's going on here?
Are we being punked here? Yeah.
And you know what? But this is a reoccurring theme that we hear. The Stadia community is very passionate community, and whenever we talk to developers, they always mention it's like this passion that the community members have, and the strong enthusiasm. So again, it's great to hear it again from you. Like you guys are just like dum dum. Here we are. We're making our game. We're getting ready to kick off our Kickstarter here. Then all of a sudden, the Stadia people come in here, make so much loud noise, and that's awesome. Yeah, it's great, because some people think that it really doesn't make a difference, and again, you're just one of many that we've talked to that say yes, it does make a difference. Being vocal about it and showing your support does make a difference in developer eyes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's so awesome. Kind of a second part to the question that Granite had here, and it's not specifically Stadia related. In that 105% polling here, or funding, GFN was added to that. Is that just because of extra work might be needed to bring it to GeForce Now because of other things, or?
That's just a fun story. Some of my friends is using it, and he asked me, and I just said, okay, if we do it for Stadia, let's consider it as well.
Okay.
We also just wanted to look more into cloud gaming in general,
right?
Because we think it's gonna be a big thing in the next few years. So, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, I'll give that back to you, MM2K. Sorry about that.
Awesome. No, those were great, fantastic questions. Definitely. So I think you kind of answered this before, but just again to reiterate for those that think that you guys are just trying to buy a bunch of oatmeal just for you and the developers, and you never plan to develop a game. Even though you guys have a pedigree and there's a game out there on Steam, it's very positive. We just got to reiterate all that for the doubters. So just again, if the funding doesn't reach 105%, which is the current tier, which we are hopeful that it does. I just want to reiterate, we are hopeful that it does, because that ultimately is what you guys want first and foremost. And we're all about supporting the devs. But let's just say in an alternate dimension, it doesn't reach that 105%. Is there still a chance of the game, in your opinion, that it's coming to Stadia? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Even if we don't reach 105%, I'm sure we will find other ways to bring Projekt Z to as many platforms as possible.
Awesome. Great stuff. Again, I'm sorry that I got to re-ask some of these questions,
it's
but
totally
it's
fine.
important. Yeah. What it is this is a passionate community, and people love playing games on Stadia. I know the media has said a lot of things that it's closing down and all of the stuff. That's just because they haven't really done the research and tapped into it. And it's hard for you guys as developers to do this research too, while you're trying to develop games and keep the lights on. So you guys are, just reading what's out there. It may not all be true. And so it kind of creates a wall between mainstream developers and then what's actually going on in the community. And what's going on in the community is there is a subsect that want to see games. They want to see them on here immediately. They want to see every single game on the backlog all the way back from 1990, which isn't plausible. It's just going to build up over time. So because of that, you get some people that are a little bit more skeptical, and I get it. But I think some of it is a naivete too. So we just want to so sometimes we're going to reiterate some of the simple things to help clear that naivete that some gamers might have. So thank you for that.
I think it's totally fine to be skeptical. In fact, players should always be a bit more skeptical about video game releases in general. And if people don't trust us, even with the lineup of partners we currently have, like Nitrado, Endline Audio, Xbox, and so forth, the products we've already released, like MMF, PSA, and Vengeance as well, that's totally fine. And I hope that we can change their minds later, during or after the development. The thing is, the thing is that you don't have to pay to try out Projekt Z. Blah. So there's no loss on the other side. So if we do our job good, so I think everything will be fine. So we think we can change a lot of minds after the release.
Gotcha. Awesome. Oh, that's great. It's great hearing that type of stuff. And again, you hear that type of stuff from developers that do have experience, that do have a lineage, and they have a game out there. You can go check it out right now. You know what I mean? And you guys have gone through the rough patch again, like you said, when you released it may have not been the reception that you wanted at first. But you guys worked to change that around. Yeah, I mean, so there's a pedigree here. You know what I mean? But it's just
the thing is, the key is don't take it personal. All of the people giving feedback or telling you what they don't like, that's awesome. I think feedback is the best thing you can give to other developers, because the thing is, if you give developers feedback, the only thing they have to do is to do what they say. If it fits, and well, there will be a good reception later on. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Sure. Awesome. We do have another question from the chat real quick. I'll throw in before I interrogate you some more, Justin. Alex Barraza, and thank you. So you're doing fantastic. I love it. I love this. It's as great as I thought it was going to be. Alex Barraza in the chat says, Projekt Z, are you going to have a team deathmatch? So TDM, is that something you're looking at?
No. That's one of the things I would say that it does not fit. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Let's MM2K. Let's squeeze one more in here that Doug had. So Doug was wondering that if Projekt Z comes to Stadia and other platforms, will there be cross-play between all platforms? Is that something that you're considering at a point?
I think we're looking into it. I think it's just a network thing right now. We have to. That's the only thing we have to look into.
Okay.
I think Max posted something on our Twitter account. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I think we confirmed one of the things. So I think Steam and Stadia, or some of the platforms can play together, but I'm not sure right now what it is.
Yep.
Okay, but it's something your team is looking into.
Yeah, of course,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Great.
That's a big thing. Big thing.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Can I take my interviewer hat off just for 1 second, John, and put my fanboy hat back on?
Sure. Yeah. There you
Just
go.
not like I haven't done it all interview anyway, but just as an FYI, in a lot of the conversations that we had with developers, they said that Stadia is very open across platform play, particularly with PC. So, just to throw that in there real quick, So even if consoles might be a little bit more restrictive because of some of their security features or whatever, but if you guys do want to add crossplay between Stadia and PC, that'd be fantastic. All right, I'm taking my hat back off, putting it back on, and all right now.
We're 100% looking into it.
Okay, cool. So, and John, I may need you to queue up something a little bit. Now, would you consider, again, as part of the release packages here, would you consider releasing the game as part of Stadia Pro lineup? And I'm going to pass it to John to kind of explain what I mean here.
Okay. Yeah. So we know that Projekt Z is going to be a free-to-play game, but some other titles have released on Stadia also as free-to-play, but also had an incentive of being part of Stadia Pro, where if you claim it with Stadia Pro, maybe you get like additional skins or weapons or things like that, that might normally cost you, let's say, $5 or $10. So what we were wondering is that something as an alternate source of revenue for the game as well? Would you consider bringing the game to Stadia Pro as well? Is like releasing it under that?
I think that is one of the things we want to talk
Gotcha.
with Google.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't see anything that speaks against it.
Okay. Well, the reason we brought that up here is, and I've got a graphic on the screen here. So Yves is an indie developer as well. He released 100 Days Winemaking Simulator across multiple platforms, and Stadia was one of them. I believe it was about 6 months into the life of the game. So, and the game's maybe about a year old now. So, like in about the last 6 months, they brought it into Stadia Pro, and he posted this graphic along with a tweet just last week here, showing here's different a pie chart here of the amount of distribution, the copies sold here, and of course naturally Steam takes it with over 60%, and they show this here's Stadia in here with about 2%, iOS, Android, and whatnot. But what was really interesting and eye-opening, and he had made a comment about this too, when you go to look at income distributions, even though Stadia is 2% of the copies sold, when you take Stadia Pro into consideration, it now bumps up his revenue to about 22%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We also so Max and I saw that yesterday as well. I think because you liked it or retweeted it.
Yeah.
So I think we also had a small discussion about it. The thing is we don't know how the entire Stadia Pro thing works internally. So obviously I'm pretty sure that we will talk about it with Google later on.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's just something is a question I know people in the community were wondering about, and we so it's good to hear. Again, there's a lot of things that you've confirmed for us, or you're in the works of talking to, because Yves also made that statement there, saying essentially is like, if you're an indie developer and you have a game and you don't have it on Stadia, you're missing out on potentially 20 to 25% income. So this is, this is great. Whereas under that Stadia Pro model, you get a part of the subscription share from everybody. Each session a person plays. So, one person can have up to one session a day, but you're going to get it. The more days that they play, the more money that you can make as well. And like I said, a game like Super Bomberman R Online, it's free to play, but it launched into Stadia Pro as well, and they included like 2 or 3 other Bomberman characters, which is, it's nothing, it doesn't give you an advantage in the game, but it's more of, those cosmetics, but as an incentive and bonus. So that was, we were kind of wondering if that would be something, for Projekt Z here. Here, we can launch the game here. It's still free to play, but if you claim on Stadia Pro, you're going to get this awesome skin for your character, or weapon skin or whatnot. So
maybe we can also create a sexy Stadia Pro weapon charm. Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The community loves Stadia specific gear. In games, PUBG has it. Farming Simulator 22 has a specific Stadia hoodie as well, and there are a few other ones too. So people always love that to represent their platform. So that's
especially
great to hear. Yeah, exactly right. So that's awesome to hear that it's being considered. Appreciate your answer on that. Thank you.
And just to show you how fanatical we are as a community, which is, fanatical can be a good thing. That there's for instance, there's that PUBG jacket that John was referring to, and it's like ultra bright pink. So idealistically, in PUBG, you don't want anything ultra bright like that, but we don't care. We don't care. We're still going to wear it, and we still win matches. So just to let you know, if you throw something in there like that, it's just going to go crazy, with the community. So, all right, great stuff. Great. Thanks for that help, John. Another question I have for you, Justin, is what would you tell those? Okay, I think you've done a fantastic job, Justin, on being transparent, breaking it down, showing the enthusiasm, and letting us realize that, hey, idealistically, this is what we need to have happen. The Kickstarter get funded, you know what I mean? And you guys can move forward to support you guys the best, but there's still alternative routes that you can't talk about yet, but there's still confidence that the game would still come. I think we've laid that out perfectly. But again, there's still some of those people, with the tinfoil hats on their head that are going to believe what they're going to believe. What would you tell those who still, after all this, who might still be skeptical about 314 Arts and Projekt Z? What would you tell them to help calm their worries?
Well, I think the only thing I would say is the problem is I can't tell them check out our website because it's down right now. Yeah, that's unfortunate, I know. But we have a problem with our domain register. So yeah, but as I said, it's okay to be skeptical, and just wait. If you think that something is wrong, or if how can I put it, or if you don't trust us, I would say, then just wait, give us time. Let check out devlog over devlog. How do we progress? Check out the beta, check out the alpha, and after that, maybe that will change their mind. Who knows?
Yeah. Yep. And if I could add again, I'm temporarily throwing on my fanboy hat again. I mean, again, these guys have a pedigree. They've worked on stuff. I mean, there's stuff under your hat for the team that's working on this game, like work on Killing Floor 2. I mean, you know what? Maybe that's also good. Is there any other projects, Justin, that the people that are working on the team, whether it's full time or part time, that they may have under their hats that gamers may be familiar with?
As I said, Ready or Not, the tactical shooter. Okay. Our sound designer is our weapon sound designer. Or no, it's just a sound. It's a general sound designer. He's working, or he's also working on Ready or Not.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. All right, and my last question.
Yeah.
My last interrogation question, Justin.
Okay.
I would be the worst officer ever. Like we pronounce you innocent, but I just got to ask you these questions anyway to keep my job. In addition to helping fund the Kickstarter, is there anything else the Stadia community can do to help ensure that Projekt Z comes to Stadia?
Yeah, I think the only thing you can do now is share the project, the Kickstarter, talk about it, tweet about it, back the Kickstarter. I think this is the best thing you can do right now to help us.
Awesome stuff. Wow. Well, Justin, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending time with us again and answering those questions. And I think you did a fantastic job as being as transparent as possible over this game. And I'm even more excited. I can't wait. So now I'm sorry, John, but my fanboy hat goes on for the rest of the interview. I can't take it off. I turn it back over to you.
All right. So I just wanted to also mention as well that for those that may not know, the Kickstarter, you can back it, but you don't get charged until the end of the Kickstarter, and also if it reaches its goal there. So for those that might say, oh, no, I don't have the money until the end of the month or whatever, you can go in there now and back it, and it won't take it out until I believe it's the 29th of May.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So for those that are interested, definitely check it out. We've got all the links, the socials to the Kickstarter and the Discord, Twitter, all that in the description of the video here. So make sure to check that out. And again, Justin, thank you so much. I mean, this has been amazing to be able to talk to you, get to know you over this last hour here, find out about the game. I think many people thought it was, that 314 hours was just like, brand new, fresh out of the, the oven type deal and really behind the ears. But, you've talked about the experience that you and people on your team have. You're not, you've published other games, you've worked with other partners, including Xbox as well. And been very upfront. And what I really like is, when we ask you, like if we're still skeptical about the game, is there anything you can say and do? And, you didn't try and push it and say, no, well, we're here and just back us. You said, you know what, if you don't feel comfortable, then wait. Wait until it gets to an alpha or beta phase. And if you want to show support then, or maybe even when the game launches, which is currently slated for Q4 2024. So it's a couple of years away, but rightfully so here. I just see like a lot of people. I saw David P in the chat earlier said that he just backed it, and a few others as well.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Jen's here saying great interview. If there is anybody else in the chat that might have a question or two for Justin here, we don't want to keep him too much longer because Justin, you are in Germany. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little after 7:00 in the evening there. Are you there? So.
Oh, that's okay. I have to work until 4 a.m. So that's okay.
Holy
so that's my schedule to do all the Kickstarter marketing stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, then there we go. We got till 4 a.m. right? So Simpleton here in the chat saying, I enjoy these developer interviews and getting to see what developers think of Stadia through their prisms. Great interviews. So again, Justin, I know this was your first interview. You were a bit nervous, but hopefully we made you feel comfortable here. And hopefully here. Oh, he's got another question here. So Simpleton saying, Justin, do you have any advice for any developers that might be considering Stadia?
Great question.
Oh, that's a great question. Well, to be honest, no.
I mean, I know that this is relatively new.
It's early.
All happened within the last couple of weeks here. It's kind of just been that whirlwind, like we saw with the developer for Outbreak on Stadia. There was another game that people got said, "Oh, would you possibly be interested, because it was using Unity? Would you possibly be interested in bringing your game to Stadia?" And the developer said, "Yeah, I'd consider it." And much like Projekt Z here, it took off, and the developer went from basically the same WTF moment. At that point, he had never heard of Stadia before, and within a matter of 10 days, he applied for the developer. Just so again, it's like we're seeing the similar thing. This grassroots Stadia movement by the community, where reaching out to developers and letting them know really does work. So again, just super thankful that you were here to talk to us today.
Maybe after the Stadia release, I have an advice, but not now.
Okay. While you're working on it there. So again, for any of those that would like to help back it, the details are in the video description. The Kickstarter ends on May the 29th, and you can go there. Pledges various different levels that get you all sorts of different perks, all the way from, I think you can donate €5 just as a thanks, or goodwill, all the way up to certain amounts. Where I know there's Jack in the Stadia community, he did a donation where I guess you get to help create an NPC. He's excited about that. Yeah,
he basically can put himself in the game.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So there you go.
If you send us, so after the Kickstarter, if you send us the pictures of your face, just then we try to recreate it as good as we can.
That's awesome. I do have a question too.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of to piggyback off of, I think where Simpleton was headed to. So you said that you were familiar with Stadia, Justin, but reasonably so, again, because of the things that are out there in mainstream media. You didn't know if it was still a thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So let me ask you this question. How important is it, not just for your game, but maybe for other developers that are out there, that the community continues to do what they're doing? Because maybe you could speak to it, that are just putting your head down and doing the hard work. You guys may not know if Stadia is still around or is even a thing. So how important is it to you to see the community continue to do this with other developers as well?
I think it's absolutely a good thing. So you guys are so kind, and there are so many of you. That's also so insane. Just push it. I think a lot of developers, a lot of indie or maybe AAA and developers as well, are thinking about it, but also think, okay, maybe the platform itself isn't really alive anymore. Just tell them. I'm pretty sure as soon as they see that, they will consider it. Like we did.
I love when you said it was I won't use the exact language. We'll use the abbreviation, but it was like WTF. I can just imagine you're on the phone. You're like, holy crap! What is all this noise? And just making that noise again. It's just, I can only imagine what it was like for you all.
Oh yeah. It was insane to say that.
That's awesome. In a good way too. So
of course.
I'm sure it probably made your guys' heads spin a little bit, like what's going on here. But yeah, it's great. So again, anybody listening, watching this stream live or watching the video on demand, again, Justin from 314 Arts, another developer, saying that yes, being vocal in the community, reaching out to developers in a respectful and mindful way, it does work. It gets their attention, and community rallying around this and showing their support for the game. But before this, Projekt Z might not, wasn't even considered to be coming to Stadia. So it's changed the whole development course, and I'm really looking forward to playing this on Stadia. Hopefully, the the funding goes well and with Kickstarter. And if not, you've already mentioned that there are possible other ways that the game may also come to Stadia as well. So really looking forward to this here. And who knows, maybe closer to release, Justin, we can have you back on the show here.
Of course.
And we'll be talking about Projekt Z's getting ready to launch in a month here and what's changed since we last talked to you.
Or maybe one day we can play together. Who knows?
Oh, yes, yeah, that would be great. I know you had mentioned too that quite possibly alpha or beta trying to come to Stadia as well. So that would be great too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all up. We'll keep in contact for sure. Yeah, and again, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and close out the show here.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh,
awesome!
Our pleasure. Thank you, everybody in the chat. If you enjoyed today's stream, please don't forget, hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. More great content coming your way. And please check out the description of the video here for all the details and social for Justin and 314 Arts, Twitter, Kickstarter, Discord. And, even if you don't have the means to help fund the game on Kickstarter here, just sharing it on social media will help, because who knows, your share someone might see, and even if it's just $5 that they put in, that's still $5 closer to making the goal here. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. Alrighty, and with that, we'll see everybody later. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace.